What's up, guys? Welcome back into the Ballroom Podcast. This is episode 2. I'm your host, Rohan Valia, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Arav Bagwadi. Arav, what's going on?
I'm good, Rohan. Crazy weekend of games. We got a buzzer beater, couple blowouts. Super excited to talk about them with you and recap them. Let's get straight into it.
Yeah, let's start with the first game of the weekend. We had the Jazz going against the Mavs. Jazz
5-4 matchup.
5-4 matchup. Jazz took the game 99-93. Donovan Mitchell really struggled in the first half, only 2 points, then turned it up in the second half with 30 points, ending with 32 points, 6 boards, 6 assists to go along with it. Bogdanovich stepped up huge, 20 points in the first half, 26 on the game.
And Rudy
Gobert,
Gobert.
Gobert
Go,
just he's manning the middle, basically just dominated everyone else. 17 boards, 3 blocks, just a grown man game. Only one field goal attempt.
Probably the
Uh,
most impactful player to have only one field goal attempt in a game.
I could probably second that. I mean, he made all the difference for the Jazz. 20-7 in second chance points for the Jazz over the Mavs. Mavs outscored the Jazz 50-36 in the paint. They
However,
almost
they almost blew an 11-point lead, another double-digit lead in the last 5 minutes. Dallas cut it to 1 with a minute left, and luck. Uh, fortunately for the Jazz, Royce O'Neal hit a sidestep dagger three, to ultimately ice the game.
yeah,
So that was
came in
huge.
clutch, pretty much
Yeah,
saved the day for them. Would have been a tragic loss for them, like we've seen before
yeah, they
to
would have
close the
gotten
season.
flamed. They would have gotten flamed if they blew another double-digit lead.
Would have been like deja vu from last year. Um,
Yeah, for real.
but Mavs obviously undermanned with no Luca. Uh,
Jalen Brunson, he stepped up big, 24 points, 7 rebounds,
yeah,
5 assists.
I mean
Um,
they fought even without
fought hard.
their star player, like made it a good
That
game.
says a lot.
Um,
Says a lot.
Says a lot. Dinwiddie dropped 22. Uh, Contributions from Bullock and Finney Smith, 15 for Bullock and 14 for Dorian. I mean, the fact that they kept the game close throughout is just promising for when Luca
Exactly.
comes back. Um,
Exactly. If they can do this without Luca, then like who knows what they can do with him. I think it's looking good for them. Especially they lost this game by free throws. Dinwiddie had 6 missed free throws, which was
yeah,
crucial. Um,
yeah.
and
I mean, the
definitely,
game it was right in their hands. They
yeah,
had it.
and imagine if they had Luca. I think they could. I think it's looking good for them in the series. I
Yeah,
think they can definitely pull it off. How about you?
yeah.
Think that too?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for Utah, I mean, this was just a must-win game, right?
Yeah,
There's
for sure.
all the pressure was on Utah for this game. Mavs, I mean, they did what they could. I think getting one of these two games at home while Luca's out, because we Luca will probably be out game 2. I think that'll be huge. Once he comes back, they'll have the momentum. Um, but if they lose these first 2 games, it's going to be a tough climb back.
I
Being
think
down 2-0 and
yeah.
losing home court.
I think uh I think almost winning that first game though without Luca gives them a lot of confidence. So,
The
um
Mavs,
yeah, it gives the Mavs a lot of confidence. The Jazz were
yeah.
basically fully healthy, right?
Yeah, but I think Mavs can keep their head high for this game.
Yeah,
Like
for
that's
sure.
nothing
Yeah.
nothing to be ashamed of, right? Just come
hmm
back game 2. Just execute a little bit better throughout the game and down the stretch. I think they'll give themselves a good chance. But for the Jazz, like this game 2 is crucial for them to pretty much take the stranglehold on the series. Um, but yeah, big game 2 coming up. So it should be interesting. But for the first game, I don't think we can look into it too much. But overall, good fight for the Mavs, and I mean, Jazz just hung on by a thread.
Yeah, and it was a really fun game to watch too.
It's a fun
Super
game.
close. Yeah, super exciting. Crowd was really into it.
Yeah,
I saw the whole game, so it was
that
really
was a fun one. It
for the
was a fun
for the
one.
first playoff game. It was really exciting.
Definitely, definitely got the playoffs off to a good start.
Yeah, definitely. All right, shall we move on to the Timberwolves Grizzlies game 7-2 matchup?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so the Wolves won 130-117. They stole one in Memphis. This was a matchup of the two top scoring offenses in the league, and
Mm-hmm.
the two of the top youngest teams in the league as well. I
Yeah.
think Memphis had like an average age of 24, or Minnesota
Mm-hmm.
had an average age of 24. Memphis had an average age of 25. So two youngest teams in the league, or in the playoffs, I think. So yeah, that's also crazy. Um,
Yeah.
Minnesota. had 6 players in double figures. Anthony Edwards, 36 points, 6 assists, 2 blocks. Had an amazing game. He joined Derrick Rose, Tyler Hero, and Magic Johnson for players who scored 35 points in a playoff game
That's
before turning
crazy.
21. He's only 20, and he's doing
Why
this
is how is Tyler Hero on that list?
because of that. In the
Bubble
bubble, right?
Hero.
He went bubble hero. He went
Bubble
crazy in
Hero.
the bubble.
Yeah, that's quite
That's
the
cra-
list.
Yeah, it's quite the list.
Derrick Rose,
It's an
Tyler
interesting
Hero.
list. Yeah.
It is a very interesting list.
But Edwards, he's only 20 and doing this in his first career playoff game.
Yeah. I mean, he
unbelievable.
pretty
It's
much
amazing.
just stamped his name all over this game. It was pretty
Mhm.
much his game from the beginning. He acted like he belonged. Like, it looked like he'd been there before.
Yeah.
Didn't show any signs of being 20, 21.
He
Basically,
acted like a vet. Yeah.
he just looked comfortable out there, getting to his spots, pretty much pulling up for wherever he pleased. He said after the game, like, he loved all the shots he was getting. It just looked like he was comfortable. So if he can
And
keep that up,
he
it'll
said
be
he was
huge.
ignited by the crowd, the Memphis crowd. They had kids
Of
yelling at
course.
him and stuff.
Yeah,
And
he
it just
said the-
kept, it ignited him.
yeah,
It motivated
I
him.
mean, that's great. I mean, but it's just two teams that are just full of dogs, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, for sure.
obviously, there's both sides have players who can go off in any given moment. This game was Edwards' games.
And
Edwards' game.
Cat had 29, 13 rebounds and a body bag on Jaren Jackson.
I think the most impressive part is even on a down game of D'Lo having a down game, only having 10 points, shot 2 of 11. He really struggled from offense, but you can see, right? They really only need 2 out of their 3 stars to bring the game home. But they have other players who can bring it home. Beasley had 23 points. They have the scoring punch. They're gonna score points.
McDaniels with his defense.
He was I think probably their MVP, one of their MVPs at least. I don't know if you can give it over Edwards, but I mean, 3 blocks, 7 rebounds. He had a steal. He was plus 19, one of the highest on the team. He was everywhere. He's just all flying around on defense, switching everything. So he was huge for them. He was huge.
What do you think about Cat's dunk on Jaren Jackson?
I think JJJ got baptized.
Yeah.
Absolutely put in a body bag.
And then he got a tech after. That made him look even worse.
Well, because McDaniels was like flexing in his face.
Yeah, I mean, I would flex in his face too after he got dunked on like that.
After getting dunked like that, like you got to stop the game.
Imagine if that game was in Minnesota. That crowd would have went.
My
insane.
God, that would have been wild. But yeah, Cat with the poster of the playoffs. Crazy, insane.
Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, we can talk a little bit of the Grizzlies too.
Oh yeah, the Grizzlies. Yeah, Ja Morant, 32 points, 8 assists. Always fun to watch him play.
He was steady.
Yeah, he was steady. He had a solid game. Dylan Brooks, 24 points. Jaren Jackson, 12 points, 7 blocks, which is a franchise playoff record.
Which is insane. I think the previous franchise record was Marcus Gasol with 6. That's an insane stat. I think
that's why he's a depoy candidate
for sure. One of the front runners for sure. But I think the big thing for the Grizzlies, like I think Jaren and Steven Adams just completely got bodied in the paint. Like Cat was just making them look like kids. They had only 7 rebounds combined. The Grizz in general were out rebounded 46-35.
And you thought that Cat was going to get contained by Adams and Jaren Jackson.
I mean, I thought that was enough size to kind of make Cat sort of not as impactful, right? Hold him back a little bit. We saw in the playing game, like he can be neutralized pretty easily. He can obviously foul out at any given point, but also just in general, like can be contained scoring wise. But the fact that Cat out rebounded JJJ and Adams, Steven Adams, 13-7 on his own, and he outscored them 29-12. Adams was scoreless. So I think that was kind of the story of the game, right? Just basically the presence down low. The Timberwolves really had that.
Yeah. How about the fact that the Timberwolves are now 2-0 in playoff protest games?
I mean, that's a remarkable stat.
Crazy stat. Unbelievable. One of the greatest stats I've ever seen. Another woman chained herself to the hoop, which was
Yeah, Timberwolves might need to start organizing these protests in case no one actually does it.
I feel like that. Yeah, I feel like they're organizing them for sure.
How also
Definitely.
like why are they so like weird of protest? Why is one of them a glued hand
I
and
don't
then
know.
now someone's
I mean,
chaining their neck to the rim?
it does gain a lot of attention.
That is
It
true.
gains a ton of attention for what they're protesting for.
I mean that's true, but
Because
like
we know why we know about it now. So
it's two protests we haven't seen, just like we haven't seen much of the Timberwolves in the playoffs. So it's a wild time of year. Playoffs, we love the playoffs.
we love the playoffs.
All right, let's look at the 5-4
In the
Raptors
East,
Sixers in the East. Sixers
this
won
game was a blowout.
131. Yeah, 131, 111, 20-point blowout. Sixers pretty much all cylinders were clicking in this one. Five players in double figures, 50% from three as a team.
How about
Max
Tyrese Maxey?
Maxey with 38 buckets. Youngest Sixer ever to score 30 plus in a playoff game, which is wild. I almost had a 40 piece. Tobias Harris just coming out of the woodworks. We haven't heard much of him since Harden got on the team, but efficient 26 on 9 of 14. 6 boards, 6 assists to go along with it. Everyone was doing Harden 22 points, 14 assists. He was just dishing dimes everywhere. Got his teammates involved, playmaked, amazing. Embiid, 19, although he struggled, he shot 5 of 15, only had 19 points. He was big in the inside. He was rim protecting very well. But yeah, what else do you see?
Although like Harden and Embiid only combined for 11 of 32 field goals, Maxey and Harris shows how much their contributions were so important in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were crucial.
I think for the Raps, I think they just didn't
were
defend.
banged up.
They were
and they
banged
were
up.
banged up. But Scotty Barnes, hard to see him go down.
Yeah,
With
that
that
was terrible.
ankle injury. Hopefully he's all good.
Yeah, they got 3 guys out next game.
Yeah,
Scotty,
Gary Trent,
yeah,
Daddy Young.
yeah.
So
But
it's not looking too great for them, but hopefully they
yeah,
can.
but I think in this
turn it
game,
around.
like I think it's not that difficult to fix. Like you could tell, like their intensity was not there on both ends. They got outscored in transition, 29-10. Allowed Sixers to shoot 51% from the field, 50% from three. That's just not typical. You don't see that from the Raptors. They're a top defense in the league. They had their scoring. I mean, their scoring was there. Pascal at 24, OG dropped 20. VanVleet gave you 18 and 6. I thought Scotty Barnes, until the point he got injured, was probably the most impactful player. He was doing everything.
Yeah.
15, 10, and 8 with a block. I think as long as they just need to do a better job defending the Sixers and containing them on that end.
Yeah, for sure. And especially playing in Philly is tough as well. It's really tough, especially in the playoffs. That crowd is crazy.
Yeah. But I mean, they have Nick Nurse. I know they're gonna adjust pretty well.
They're gonna adjust. Yeah.
So we don't have to read too much into this game. Hopefully their players get healthy.
See what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. As long as they get healthy
tomorrow.
Yeah, they'll be good.
All right. You want to move on to the final one? Nuggets Warriors, our favorite one.
Yeah, final game on Saturday.
Golden State won 123-107. Poole, Clay, Steph, Draymond all played 30 minutes or less. Very efficient. Very efficient night for Golden State. Good rest for them. Golden State shot 52% from the field, 46% from three. Crazy. We had a pool party in San Francisco. Jordan Poole with 30 points.
Yeah.
Such an efficient game. 9 of 13 field goals. 5 for 7 from three. Klay Thompson, also a good game. 7 for 15 and 5 of 10 from three.
I think Wiggs was one of the more impactful
he was really
players.
Important. Plus 21 plus or minus.
Plus 21. He did everything right, I thought. Like he played solid defense. He made timely cuts. He picked his shots well. He wasn't forcing it. He shot really efficiently. 16 points and 9 boards to go with it. But yeah, he if he can play like this consistently, he'll be a really steady anchor for the Warriors.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, I think Draymond, like the way he held Jokic and defended him, locked him up. He held him only 12 points on 6 of 15 shooting, 0 for 4 from 3. He contained him to the best you can contain Jokic. Like you can't like stop him completely, but you can only try and contain him. And I think that as long as he keeps doing that consistently, I think as long as you just make it tough on Jokic, that's the best you can do.
Yeah, and he had 12 points of his own too. Draymond did.
Yeah,
which was
which is unusual, very
unusual, but really good. He's back to his playoff form.
Are we ever gonna see his 37-point game 7 in the
game
final?
7 and a win? We need a win, not a loss.
That's true. You can't lose that game. Lose that game.
I think the third quarter Warriors are one of the best teams of all time as well. They
they still exist is the question.
They do. Did you see that game yesterday?
But that doesn't happen like as often as it did like back in the OG days.
We'll see tomorrow.
Hopefully if it gets to that point, then the Warriors are going to be dangerous. But for sure. Also Steph, like he's solid return. I think 16 points, 5-13. Obviously needed to get his rhythm back early on. Forced some shots early on in the game. I think he slowly found his rhythm, got more comfortable. But he was getting swarmed early on. Obviously, he gathers a lot of attention from the defense, which is amazing because Clay and Poole are getting wide open looks. Literally just having Steph as a decoy, like even if he's not 100% on his ankle,
exactly,
it's perfect. It's attracting defense.
He's just so impactful on the floor. Even
he's
if
just opening. He's opening up the offense.
Be a decoy. Yeah,
exactly. He's just opening up the offense. So obviously Kerr will have to decide whether Poole starts or not game 2, which is obviously something he's dreading.
What do you think? What do you want?
I mean, obviously, in an ideal world, you'd keep all 3 of them on the floor.
Yeah, but we kind of need Wiggins.
Yeah, we need Wiggins. Looney is going to start on Jokic,
and Draymond will start as well.
It's basically between Poole and Curry. I think if Steph can get his minutes up to maybe 30 a game, I think it makes sense to bring him.
I think we should see just see how he plays tomorrow. I think start Poole one more.
It's game. Also it's kind of ridiculous that we're discussing whether Steph and Curry should start.
It's just because of his injury, but
it's just because exactly. So
but also not. Jordan Poole is like an MVP.
That's true. It is Poole's team now. Steph's just in the shadows. But no. Once Steph's back and healthy, like we'll need him going forward. The Warriors will need him going forward. Him contributing is going to be a big part of their run. I think for the Nuggets, I mean, obviously they don't really have the offensive punch that they would have if they had Murray or Porter. Jokic doing the best he can. I mean, he seems gassed. He's getting work. He's having to do everything: play, make, score.
They don't have the offensive firepower.
Yeah, he's having
they need Murray and Porter. I heard that there's a slight chance that Murray could come back.
That would be insane.
I was listening to the radio the other day, and they said he's like he wants to come back. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, if it's hard to tell what he'd look like even if he does come back, right? He's coming off an ACL. Yeah, he's coming off an ACL.
It's going to be hard to play a playoff game off an ACL.
Exactly. Also, Boogie with a monster game, 7 points, 2 boards, and an ejection. Just a typical
Denver,
Boogie stat line.
Yeah,
it's just a typical Boogie.
They also were off. They shot 31% from 3.
Yeah.
However, they did a good thing for Denver. Like if they want to see the bright side, some positives. They outscored Golden State 16-4 in fast break points and 54-42 in points in the paint. So they could take those on the bright side. They could take those positives.
I mean, obviously, in the paint, you have the biggest guy on the floor, most dominant guy on the floor. It's Jokic, right? You should be dominating the paint.
Yeah, you should be. Yeah.
I think you just if you're the Nuggets, just perimeter defense is your number one priority. You just have to limit what Poole and Clay and Steph are going to give you. But yeah, I mean, it's just a hard task, especially with an undermanned Nuggets team. We'll see though. I mean, it's still gonna be a series. It's not over. Far from over.
Sure.
If the Nuggets can snag game 2, it's going to be a series. But or if they can just defend home court, there's still a lot of games to be played. So nothing too down for the Nuggets. But we'll definitely
it's one game. It's one game.
There's definitely, but they're definitely going to need to step it up as a whole because it can't just be Jokic. He needs his team with him. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to game 2.
Yeah.
All right,
let's
look at
today's games.
Yeah, Hawks Heat
Sunday's games.
Sunday's games. First game was Hawks Heat. Heat took it. It was a blowout, 115-91. Obviously,
Trae Young with one of the worst stat lines of all time.
Yeah.
8 points, over 7 from 3, 1 for 12 field goals, 6 turnovers, -22 plus minus. Yeah,
that's just But what you can't put he has so much on his shoulders right now.
They have nothing else. They need more scoring. They need more outside scoring. This game they need Clint Capella. They need him bad.
Yeah. I think just in general, like they're undermanned, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think this is just an off game. Like there's no way they're scoring. They're shooting 28% from 3, 39% from the field, like the whole series.
Miami's defense stifling.
Miami, obviously, their game plan was perfected to a T. Coach Spo, coaching up a masterclass, obviously had them prepared. They're a team for the playoffs. This is kind of what we expected. Although they did get the 1 seed in the regular season, they're going to be more of a playoff team. But yeah, I mean, for the Heat, they were swarming the Hawks. Hawks were getting clamped left, right, and center. Obviously, the Hawks shot poorly, but even the Heat on offense shot 52% from the field, 47% from 3. Duncan Robinson
had
shout out the long shot. Shout out the long shot.
Shout out the long shot. Big fans.
Big fans. If you guys want to come on, hit us up. Or if you want to have us on, that'd be even greater.
Yeah, definitely.
But 27 points from Duncan Rob, 8 of 9 from 3, 9 for 10 from the field. He shot 130 effective field goal percentage, which for those of you who don't know is a statistic that basically adjusts for the fact that 3s are count for 3 points and 2s count for 2s. But that's the most points scored on that efficiency in NBA playoff history.
And also, that's
stat.
crazy. That's insane. Robinson's 8 threes was tied for the second most in NBA playoff history by a reserve. He's just behind. It was just behind Jayson Terry, who had 9 against the Lakers, and he's tied with J.R. Smith, which was also against Atlanta back in 2015, where that game was crazy for JR.
Yeah, shout out Duncan.
Shout out Duncan. Shout out the long shot.
Shout out the long shot. Shout out Williams. Duncan.
Shout out Williams
played D3
College.
there. Yeah. But yeah. Also, I mean, but the rest of the team, just steady work. Jimmy with 21 points. PJ Tucker went crazy. 4 for 4 from 3, 16 points. Bam obviously didn't need to do much offensively, only scored 6 points, but he was just doing everything. He's Swiss Army knife for the team, playmaking, rebounding, just man in the middle. Hero, I think he needs to have a bit more of an offensive punch for them going forward. Only at 6 points, 3 of 11. 5 turnovers, which is a bit excessive, but I think he could clean that up. And then Lowry just being a steady playmaker for them, 10 points, 9 assists, just finding people at the right time. And yeah, just doing a good job, just controlling the team.
And then, Miami was also moving the ball way better than Atlanta. They had 35 assists compared to Atlanta's 16. So that was also huge. Yeah. That's a big reason why they won by so many.
Yeah. I mean, game 2, I don't assume will be a blowout as bad as this one. Hawks were out
for sure. The Hawks will definitely step it up. You can't get worse than this too.
Yeah. Just stepping up on offense, stepping up the defense as well. I think the Hawks can play themselves right back into the series. Just steal. All they got to do is just steal one game. This is just one game. It's an away game, so not much to lose. But if they can somehow steal a game next game, that'll be huge for them. And then going back to Atlanta.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I should look at the next game. The game of the
weekend.
Game of the week. Game of the year.
Game of the year, possibly.
Game of the year. It's up there.
It's definitely up there. This was a crazy game. The Brooklyn Nets versus the Boston Celtics. Obviously, as you guys probably know, Celtics won 115-114 off a crazy final possession for Boston.
That was
insane. It was such a broken play, and I wanted Boston to call timeout so bad. I was like,
No,
Why aren't you
it
calling
was
timeout?
smart.
It was smart. It ended up being smart. Brooklyn was
KD
all
got
up.
caught
Yeah,
lacking.
he got caught
KD,
lacking by Tatum.
dude's
Um,
controller died. Controller
Dude's
disconnected.
controller died the whole game, bro.
KD's damn. I mean, he did have, obviously to KD's standards. Yeah, he was terrible.
Yeah. No,
Kyrie though.
Kyrie, what a crazy game. But that last possession, it was all like it got discombobulated a little, and then Marcus Smart just like
How
with that
did
fake,
Smart have the composure to make that pass?
pump fakes two guys, steps up, passes it to Tatum, who spins on Kyrie and hits the game winner. That was crazy.
Insane last possession. Also, I mean, Celtics absolutely clamped Brooklyn in the play before that. Like
Oh yeah,
Brooklyn could
that
barely
was
get a
amazing
shot up.
defense.
Like KD shot like I think it was a step back double clutch.
It was
three.
like step back like 30-foot three that just wasn't even close. And they clamped up Kyrie too. Kyrie was trying to score. He was trying to ISO on someone.
Yeah.
On like Smart or something, and they clamped him up. They double teamed him, which was really huge.
It was smart because everyone
really
knew
smart.
Kyrie was looking for the last shot there. Yeah, I mean he went off,
and then he had to give it up. He had to give it up with like 2 seconds on the shot clock, and then KD threw up a heave.
Yeah, it was just the perfect last two possessions for the Celtics. I think they deserved the game, right? They were leading for most of it. Brooklyn clawed their way back a couple times, made some runs, but in general, the Celtics really brought it home. But I think obviously, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I think the thing is for Brooklyn is that even in an off game for Kevin Durant, who went from 9 for 24, they still only lost by 1.
Yeah.
And if KD and Kyrie are having a game, like a really good game, I think it's scary. It's scary.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, basically, yeah. If they both can score like 30 plus each, like it's going to be hard for them to lose. Basically, hard for the Celtics to win. Basically, they would need Brown and Tatum to basically match their scoring output. But I think for the Celtics, I think obviously Tatum and Brown, 31 for Tatum, 23 for Brown. Marcus Smart, probably their player of the game. Obviously with the pass. Horford, 20 and
Horford
15.
Had a great game. Yeah.
Yeah.
20 and 15, 8 for 13, perfect from 3.
Yeah.
Four of the 5 Celtics starters had at least 20 points. So they definitely deserve this game. They had a great game, but I'm not sure if they can play like this every single game. It's going to be tough against Brooklyn.
I think this is who the Celtics are. I think they've shown us that like the second half of the season, right? They have the role players to back up Tatum and Brown. Like if it's not Horford scoring 20, if it's not Smart scoring 20, 7 rebounds and 6 assists as well. Like they have Derek White who can give him some buckets. Grant Williams, Pritchard can give him 10 to 15 on a good night. Grant Williams can give him 10. They have players.
And Robert Williams could still come back too. So
he can still come back. So for them, hopefully he comes back. That would be huge. Also, I think everyone was expecting the Nets to just dominate in the paint and just go at Tice and Horford. But you can see Horford and Tice can hold their own. Obviously, it's not the same without Robert Williams. But I think what Bruce Brown was saying before the game,
and the Celtics put that on the jumbotron.
Put it on the jumbotron.
Yeah. Right? And they won the game. So
they kept the receipts. They knew what was going on.
Exactly.
But yeah, getting Robert Williams back, that would be huge for them. Like that'll just take this team to a different level. I mean, that's the team that we saw in the second half of the season that went off. I think this we're just gonna see these games like going forward.
I'm so excited to watch this whole series.
If we have 6 more games of these, like
that's gonna be.
This is basically
candy to my eyes, bro. It's just gonna be so exciting, and
because this is basically a conference finals in the first round. I think the winner of this could probably make the conference finals or make the finals, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So this is everything. I mean, amazing game 1. Definitely lived up to the hype.
For sure.
And hopefully the rest of the games live up to this. Even if they don't, we'll still be in for some exquisite basketball.
Yeah, I remember I was like before the game, I was like thinking in my head and telling someone, I think like time to watch the greatest basketball game of all time.
Everyone knew. Like this is the game everyone had marked on the weekend. Like this was the game of the weekend. This is a series of the playoffs so far. Could end up being one of the best series in the playoffs, like going into the finals. But yeah, still a lot of games to be left. A lot of games to be played. Nets. This isn't like the end of the world for them. This is one game for them. It was a road game for them, so they weren't expected to win.
Yeah.
But I think getting this game would have been huge for them. This just to get a handle on the series. Obviously, but winning game 2 will be huge for them. Which it's going to be 50-50.
Yeah. And NBA series are long, man. Best of 7.
They're long.
So
they're long. Yeah. I'm sure both teams are going to be making some adjustments. But if the Celtics can also win this game, this next game, I mean, that's
huge. That's huge.
That's just stamping their names all over the series, and
sure.
they'll be going to Brooklyn, looking to just get 1 out of 2, and they'll pretty much be set for the series. But we don't need to look too ahead. We have a game 2. That's all that matters, and we're all looking forward to it. All right, let's look at the next game.
Let's look at the next one. The 6-3 in the East, the Bulls and the Bucks. The Bucks.
It was tough for them because they had to follow that masterclass of the game. But
yeah. It was a good game too, I think. The Bucks won 93-86. They did have a 16-point lead at the start, so I thought it looked like it was gonna be a blowout, but the Bulls just didn't go away. And they eventually took the lead at one point, like sometime in the second half or like right before halftime. So but as always, Giannis was dominant. 27 points, 10 of 19 from the field, plus 19 plus or minus. And he's just like a beast in the paint. Like I was watching highlights of the game too, and he was just like dunking everything, throwing alley-oops off the backboard to himself, dunking those, just like being a beast, dominant in the
He's a beast. He's a beast. Yeah.
Absolute beast.
I feel like this game just had like an old-fashioned playoff feel.
Oh,
like
yeah, low scoring too.
Low scoring games. Teams were struggling to get buckets. It was just like it felt kind of like congested at times. Just because that's how playoff defenses can become. But yeah, I think the main takeaway is that for the Bulls, like this is what we've known all season, right? They just don't have the scoring punch outside of DeRozan, Vucevic, and Levine. And they all 3 of them had dreadful shooting games. 6 of 25 for DeRozan, 9 of 27 for Vucevic. Levine shot 6 of 19. They combined 4 for 22 from 3.
And
like it was
just
a horrible shooting game.
The big 3 also took 71 of 96 of their of the Bulls shots and scored 60 of 86 points. So that shows that they need like more outside scoring outside of those big 3. They don't have anything else.
They only had
maybe like Kobe White, who had that was their only other double-digit score. He had 12. The Bucks do have stifling defense though. They have that championship minded defense. You
could tell Coach Bud, like he prepared them for their defense is built for the playoffs, right? They have Drew Holiday, they have lockdown Bobby Portis,
they have
Giannis, the depoy, one of the depoys, a candidate for depoy.
And he won like a couple of years ago.
He won it last year. Was it last year or the year before?
No, he won his MVP season, right?
Yeah, who won it last year?
Gobert.
No way.
Yeah.
It was?
I'm pretty sure.
I
could be wrong. I think it was.
That's pretty ironic given what happened in the playoffs, but either way.
Put him on a guard, like I said.
He's by far the best regular season defender, interior defender. That's up for debate. Anyway.
They held the Bulls to 18.9 3-point shooting, 18.9%, and 32.3% from the field. So they also kind of own the Bulls. They've won 17 of their last 18 meetings.
Bulls just need to shoot better. That's basically what the game came down to. Like you can't shoot 19% from 3 and expect to win a game. You can't shoot 32% from the field and expect to win.
And you can't have no other scorers outside of 3 players and expect to win as well.
I mean, this is just game 1, obviously.
Like I said,
I think
basketball is a long series. NBA is a long series.
Bulls just need other role players to step up, give them some offense. Obviously the Bucks they're probably they're built for this time of year. But let's not count the Bulls out just yet.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be interesting series.
Game 2 will definitely be interesting.
Yeah, basketball series are long. They're long. It's only one game.
All right. Last
So the
series.
final game. Last game. Pelicans at Suns. This game was actually like kind of interesting. It was 110-99, but it was like the Pelicans, like, it didn't seem like they were getting blown out the whole game. At one point, the Suns were up by like more than 20, but Pelicans cut it to 8 at the end of the third, and it got a little interesting. What do you think about this game?
I mean, I think vintage CP3 just brought the game home. Like 19 in the fourth, 30 on the game. Like you could just tell, like this is where CP like thrives. This is where he lives. He's for the playoffs.
He wants
it, right? He's gonna carry this team if he has to on his two shoulders. I mean, to do it at almost 37, 36.
He's turning 37 later in the playoffs.
Crazy. I mean, yeah, CP just brought him home, that vet leadership. That's what's made him so good the last 2 years. And for him to just be able to just switch it on like that in the fourth, and just if it's just a mildly close game, he can just take over and bring it home. That's just such a luxury for the Suns. And it's so crucial for them if they're trying to go deep in these close games in the playoffs, when you just have no offense sometimes, and the defense is just swarming. To have a bucket getter who can just close the game and get you a bucket, or play make if you have to, if you need to, is huge. And you still have Book, who's a top 5, top 10 scorer in the league. He had dropped 25. Ayton was huge, 21 points from him. Really helped dominate.
Cam Johnson was big too.
Cam Johnson just doesn't
5 of 6, 13 points. Did you see his alley-oop dunk?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, that was
wild.
Crazy. Yeah,
dude,
I gasped when I saw it. Yeah.
Facts. Still not better than Cat's dunk, but
oh yeah, for sure. Definitely not.
Still
crazy.
Insane. Yeah. I think for the Pelicans, like, this is just the first game. Obviously, they had 2 crazy playing games. And you just need to shoot better. I think that's what it comes down to.
They shot 22% the first half. That can't really happen against Phoenix. You can't have that big of a margin for error against this team. I don't think it'll happen again. Hopefully not. But Phoenix, it's hard to play against Phoenix.
CJ shot 9 for 25. BI was 6 of 17. Jonas, who is a paint scorer, 7 to 21. I don't think that's going to happen again. But if they really need to turn up on the offensive end in order to get in the series.
They played really well in the second half. So if they can play like that in the second half, play like they did in the second half in the first half, I think they could have won this game. But
I think they're well in this series. Like, they showed that they belong. I think they didn't just squeeze their way in, although they technically did in the play-in. But like it looked like they belonged in the playoffs. So I think we'll see some. I think it'll definitely be an interesting series. It won't be like as much of a blowout as people think.
Yeah, it was only an 11-point game, and New Orleans cut it to 8 at one point. Yeah. But I want Zion, man. I want him back. He looks ready. He looks good to go. Like, get him in there.
Pelicans they're just not gonna put him out there. Like,
I want him, bro.
Yeah, I know. We all do. That it just bring a whole new dynamic to their team. Like, they're playing Jackson Hayes right now at the 4. Zion at the 4 is it's a completely different look for them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even if you get him for like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes a game, like, Zion's so dominant, he can get you 15 points in that like small time. And those 15 points can win you a game. Like, they only lost by 11. So
yeah, definitely, for sure.
I mean, that would be good for them. But yeah, I mean, that pretty much wraps up the first weekend, the first
weekend of playoff basketball 2022.
Yeah,
what a weekend,
exciting.
Man. What a weekend.
It was exciting, definitely. All right, we'll catch you guys.
Episode 3.
Episode 3. We'll recap the game 2s. So stay tuned for that. It should be sometime in the middle of the week. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys later.
See you guys. Peace out.